Welcome to Creative Type Podcast. This is episode 37, Keeping Your Best Artwork for Yourself. I'm Lori Rivera.
And I'm Jaime Haney.
And welcome once again to Creative Type Podcast.
Hello.
Hello. Well, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. I kind of like this new schedule.
I do too.
It's a little more, it's eased up a little stress for us. And it still comes around so quickly, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Holy
yeah.
cow.
But it gives us a week off, you know.
Yeah.
And we're both pretty busy.
Yeah. So what have you been up to lately? What in the last 2 weeks? Anything major happened to you? Anything going on in your art life or whatever that you want to talk about?
No, not really, except that I'm trying to get back to creating my abstracts. I feel like I've been neglecting them this year, you know?
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, you know, we always just kind of go down different little avenues sometimes. And I think it's good to do that, to keep our creative juices curious, and you'll get back to it. And and maybe it'll be in a different way. You never know. And I think whenever we do that, it informs, when we do go back, it informs our work in different ways.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. Oh, well, we do have to talk about how we got to meet together and we treated ourselves. You, Vicky, and myself, we went to Red Lobster.
And had their buttery biscuits.
Oh, no, we have to get it right. It's not biscuits. It's Cheddar Bay.
Oh, okay.
Cheddar Bay biscuits, I think is what they call them. Yeah. Oh, those were so delicious, weren't they?
They were.
And Vicky's supposed to be gluten-free, so I think she was paying for it the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good. And I got the coconut shrimp. You got something. What'd you get?
I got crabby cheese fries. They were good. I'm not a big seafood person, but I do like crab.
Yeah,
and
it
was actually an appetizer, and I just got it as a meal.
Yeah. It reminds me, every time you say crabby, it reminds me of, what was that cartoon where they were under the water?
Oh, yeah. SpongeBob.
Yeah, SpongeBob. Crabby cakes? Isn't that
I think so.
My son used to eat those. So we had a good time, and we talked business, and it's always good for us to get together. This is our first time of getting together to eat, wasn't it?
Yeah. November.
Yeah, since November. Golly, time goes fast.
That's way too long. We can't wait that long again.
Yes, I know. Well, and on my side, our family celebrated my son's 18th birthday. Oh, my God.
Yeah, big one.
Yes, a big one. Big milestone. He'll be graduating here in I don't know, 2 months, something like that.
Yeah.
It's not long. Life just keeps tromping by, doesn't it?
Oh, I know.
You've got a 13-year-old and 13 going on 33, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
yeah. Today, let's get talking about keeping our best artwork for ourselves. Now, what do we mean by that, Lori? What do you want to start us off here?
Sure. Well, this kind of piggybacks on our last podcast of what happens to our artwork after we die. Right. I think, don't you? And
definitely.
It's like when you die or whenever you get further along in your career, you want to have a nice collection of your artwork for yourself that's some of your best work.
Yes. Right.
So to leave to family or friends or whoever after your
children. Yeah, right. Definitely. Want to leave a legacy that, I think your best works should stay with you for you to enjoy and be inspired by.
Yeah.
When we were talking about doing this podcast, and actually it was Vicky, wasn't it, that said,
it was her idea,
yeah, you should do a podcast about that. But we were talking about it, and we were talking about how many artworks that we all have, and I think it started with you asking me I think maybe I asked which was your favorite or something, and you guys had discovered that you didn't have really your favorite ones left. Well, you do have one, but what you consider your best work, and I was saying that I've got paintings there's some that I won't ever sell because I like them. And there are different stages, and I'm sure I could do better now, but at the time it was the best I could do, and I'm still very proud of the paintings that I'm keeping for myself. But that's how it started,
Right.
and then, Vicki doesn't have, I don't think Vicki had any of her paintings that she considered her best that she had kept. She sold them all, and there's nothing wrong with selling them, but, do think about that, especially if you're prolific. I think it's much easier to keep these artworks for yourself. Like you, Lori, you're really prolific, so I think it's easier. But it's also easy to get stuck in that mindset of, I got to sell everything. But no, we don't have to sell everything. We should be discerning on what we keep and what we sell.
Yeah. Not only that, you never know when someone might come along and ask you to do a solo show. And if that happens, you want to have some good artwork, and not necessarily all your older work, but you want to keep it current also. But and if you're selling all your pieces, then you're not going to have really a collection to do anything like that. You're going to have to hustle and bustle to get things done.
Right. And think about it too. Maybe you said not your older artwork. Well, why not? Maybe it's a retrospective of your life. So I think that, definitely keep that in mind as we get older, and it happens faster than what we want. You need to be able to have, I like to be able to have, a timeline that I can see myself getting better and the changes.
Right.
And, it's just really interesting to have this art life, isn't it? These journals of our life that are on canvases, and we sell to strangers sometimes. I start thinking about that, and I thought, oh my God, this is just crazy.
Yeah.
So, do we want to share what is our favorite pieces that we have in our possession and want to hang on to?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, you go first because I know which one yours is.
Yeah, my cake painting.
Yeah, the cake painting.
Yeah,
and
the
I had to say,
cake.
Yeah. Okay, so listeners, we had to practically jump on Lori and tell her to not sell that painting. She was like, I'm not going to sell my cake painting. And you've got 2 awards on that painting, right? And it's exhibited in a few different places. And we had to slam you down on that one and stop you. And you came to your senses, aren't you glad?
Yeah, now I'm going to keep it. You guys are right. I need to keep that one. And also, one of my other favorites is one of them that Lisa has, which if anybody has that piece, I would love for her to have it,
That's
because
true.
she's probably my biggest fan of my abstracts.
Right.
But she has my favorite abstract.
Yeah, I knew she did. But she looks at it every single day. I think it's right next to her bed, isn't it? When she gets out of bed, she stands up and can see it now. Yeah. Lisa, so we listen to what you say.
Yeah, she says she sees it first thing in the morning, and the last thing she sees when she goes to bed.
Yep, that's right. Hey, you can't ask for better than that, right? And it brings her joy every day. Now, she's got some of my pieces too, but they're in her shitter.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I think I just said that to be funny because I thought it was funny. Why not have original artwork in the bathroom, right? I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, for sure. Original artwork in every room.
That's right. Definitely. Laundry room, hallways, everywhere. Put it everywhere.
Yeah.
So I can think of 2 right off the bat that are my favorite pieces that I won't be getting rid of and I'm going to keep forever. And that is one called Tropical Getaway. And it's one of my earlier pieces. And I think I made it in 2015. And, so it's older.
Yeah.
But I still look at it. Matter of fact, it's in my bathroom. Talk about shitter art. It's in my bathroom, but I look at it every day, and every day I think, I just love that painting. It's a tropical scene, and I made it up. It's half off of an inspiration photo, but it doesn't look anything like the photo. But I just love tropical stuff, and it's got, it's me, and it's got great complementary colors in it, and I just love it. And then the other one is kind of what I consider my signature piece, one of my signature pieces, but it's the only one that I still own. And it's the one called Mysterious, I think, oh my God, I already forgot what it's called. Mystical Mother Nature, I think is what it is.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's kind of, I don't know if I would call it surreal. What would you say that falls under.
Oh boy, I don't
It's
know.
got eyes looking at you.
Maybe.
It's got leaves. It's like Mother Nature, and it's got this teal color wind
What
blowing
about?
through it.
I don't know much about this, but there's a genre called magical realism. Do you know anything about that?
No.
The only reason I bring that up is because we watched the Frida documentary last night, the new one that came out in 2024 this year.
Oh, did
and
it come out?
then I was doing some research about Frida and reading about her on Wikipedia and all these different sites last night, learning more about her life, which I think she's such an interesting person anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And but her work, some of it's considered magical realism, and I almost think like maybe you need to look that up and
but it's not really realism though. It's not really.
Well, but even though it's called magical realism, I don't think no, I'm not sure because I haven't done a whole lot of research, but I don't think it's actual like realistic realism.
Oh,
you know what
okay.
I mean?
I will look that up. I have not heard of that. And you'll be happy to know that I watched that last night after I saw you post about it. And I saw that it was on Amazon, the Prime.
Oh, yeah,
and I got to watch it. So I watched it last night, too. It was really good. It was similar to the one, the earlier one, Frida, that was a movie made with Salma Hayek. Did you ever see that one?
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, you need to look that up because it's really good. It's a little more entertaining. I mean, really, it was kind of similar, but I guess because they both used her paintings as some graphics and animation in it. It was really good, though. She had a very interesting life, didn't she? And with a lot of pain, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah. I really like her work, though.
My favorite painting of hers is the deer portrait. The deer with her head on it. Have you seen that one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they used that in the documentary.
Yeah, that's my favorite painting of hers. I love that.
What is it you like about that?
I don't even know. I just love it. It's just so fun. I don't know. Well, it represents pain, I think, so it's kind of weird to say that it's fun, but I mean, I don't know. I just love it.
Maybe thought-provoking more than fun. Yeah, it's very thought-provoking. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know her work well enough to say which one is my favorite. I recognize a lot of them. You know, I'm very drawn to tropical stuff and plants and things. So I have seen the one with her holding her monkey, and I do like that one.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of tropical plants and things around her. But there are a lot I know that I've seen that I like of hers. Just her life story is just so interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you know, she painted for herself. So I would imagine she did sell, but I think she probably kept most of her stuff. I wonder where her artwork ended up. I guess it probably ended up in museums.
You know, a lot of it's still in Mexico, and as a matter of fact, the Mexican government will not allow any of her paintings to leave the country, any of them that they have in their possession. Right.
Oh, wow.
Because she's such an icon in Mexico.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They don't even lend it out to places for...
I don't think so.
Oh, that's kind of stingy. Well, let everyone see it. That's kind of stingy, you know, and just have it go back. I guess they worried that it would get stolen or something would happen to it.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. But, you know, how is it? It's not going to be seen if it's not. Maybe they have it in a museum there in Mexico. Hopefully they do.
Yeah. So here's a question for you, back to our subject. How do you decide which paintings you want to keep? Is it something in your gut feeling that you just look at it and be like, oh my gosh, this is one of my best pieces, I need to keep this? Or does it sit in your studio for a while and then you're like, you know, because you know how sometimes you paint something and you might not like it at first and then you look at it a month later and you're like, that's better than I thought it was originally, you know?
Yeah.
And,
or years later. Yeah.
Right. So like, do you let it sit in your studio for a while and then decide to keep it, or, you know, how do you go about that?
Well, let's see how I went about it. I did try to sell 2 of those paintings I guess both that I mentioned. And everyone was attracted to them and liked them, of course, and I had higher prices on them and I didn't sell them. And then I started to think, you know, I really like that. And then I thought, I'm going to be sad if they'll sell. I want to keep those. So I took them off my website as far as the originals for sale. I do still prints of them, but I think I kind of go with the first one. I think I go with my gut, and even though my gut came later, it still was my gut. I loved painting it. I documented myself while I was painting it, so I have a lot of documentation on the paintings. And actually, the second painting that I talked about, the mystical Mother Nature, it was a different painting. I pulled a Lori. I painted over it, and
oh my gosh,
I had forgotten about that. Lori.
See there? You know how I always say my best paintings are the ones I paint over.
Well, now I do have to say it was not a completed painting. So, but it was not going in a good direction, and a friend of mine said, "Oh, I see two eyes," or something like that, and I ran with that. So I have to give credit to her. It was my friend Amelia, and I think it was the two eyes that she saw in there, and I just took off with it and went in a totally different direction. I think it was going to be a mountain painting, mountains, and it ended up much better. So I have to say I go with my gut. So what do you do, Lori? How do you decide?
Well,
is it technical skill? I mean, because that cake is like we've talked about before, the crystals on it. You did such a good job with the glass.
Yeah, technically speaking, that's probably my best painting I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Technical aspects anyway. And some of my pieces that I've sold, I kind of wish I wouldn't have sold them.
Yeah, I've had that too.
But I think initially especially my abstracts, when I first started selling my abstracts, I think I was just so excited that they were selling that I wasn't even concerned with keeping any of them,
Yeah. Oh, girl, I so get that. I get that.
Yeah.
I think every artist feels that. Yes. You're so excited.
Yeah.
You almost pay people to take your paintings, right? Because you're just so beyond thrilled that they want to have that in their home. That it's such validation when somebody's willing to give you, it's an exchange of energy. I've heard other people say that, and I really agree with that because it takes energy to earn that money, and then they're giving it to you for the energy that you put into the painting.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. So where's your final answer?
on which ones I keep? I guess
like what's the reasoning? Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I haven't kept many of the paintings that I wanted to keep, and I think part of that reason is I try to put my best paintings out there.
Yes.
Like in the galleries and stuff, because I want my best work to be shown. So I'm in this predicament. It's like I want to keep them, but yet I want to show my best work as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a conundrum,
And I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to sell something and it doesn't sell and you deciding later to keep it like I did, or even creating something and with the intention of keeping it. I think that's fine too. Like if you're painting along and you're like, oh my God, I love this painting. I think it's fine to not sell it. But it is hard to do. Yeah. It is hard. It's hard because you do want your best work out there. But sometimes, like I always say, it's not for us to judge. Maybe what I think is my best work, someone else doesn't even give two shits about,
Right.
So it's very subjective. Art is always subjective.
Right. And, I have a painting at B3 Gallery right now. It's one of my larger abstracts. And I've decided if that does not sell, I'm keeping it.
Oh, good.
It's one of my better ones. It's one of my best.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any right or wrong way of going about deciding to keep a painting. It could be later down the line because it hasn't sold and it just really grows on you. Or maybe it even reminds you of a time of your life that you want to, it was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was a bad time. I don't know. But I think that there are lots of reasons why you would want to keep the painting. Not necessarily even because it's your best work. Maybe it just has meaning for you. And I think that's important. And this kind of is getting off subject a little bit, but I think that I know that blogs aren't as prevalent as they used to be or popular, but I do think it's important for us to do that, to keep a journal of the artworks and to talk about it and that's giving provenance to the piece, right? So I think that that'll be worth something. And maybe even if you write a good blog post, maybe even print it out and keep it in your files with those or written notes.
Right.
I think anything we can keep regarding that, I think it just adds value to our artwork, and whenever we're gone, it will speak for us.
Yeah. Something I would love to do is get like all my paintings from every year printed out for that year, like in a
That's
book.
a great idea.
Like I did that for 2020.
Yeah.
And I took like my favorite 100 paintings and put them in a book.
Oh, that's a good idea. Are you selling that as a coffee table book?
Well, actually, you can buy it off of Amazon. I don't think anybody's bought it.
Because, well, maybe you need to promote it. I didn't even know you had it, so you should promote it.
Yeah, but I would like to do that for each year. But it gets kind of...
It can get expensive.
Pricey, yeah.
I mean, it's worth it, you know.
You can get things printed on Amazon for pretty reasonable, though.
Yeah. Well, and even it doesn't even have to be a high-end book. You can just have a nice print made and put it in a binder. I just think the record is good. The record is good to keep.
Yeah.
It helps you keep track of your journey, and especially, you know, us as artists, we always have ups and downs. I think it's good to, you know, be able to go back to those goods and the wins and the good times and remind ourselves, especially if we're in a slump.
You know, I have another a reason why I keep certain paintings. Yeah. Like, for example, my solo show I had in 2021, I sold all my paintings from that show, the bigger ones, and then I have one left, one big one left. I'm keeping that not because it's one of my best paintings, but just because that was from my solo show.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Just make sure that you're not the only one that knows that, right? You need to write a little piece and put the pieces, like I'm sure you had some sort of brochure or something printed out. I'm pretty sure you did, didn't you? Or a postcard or something. Keep all those pieces together and stick it with that painting. Stick it in the back of it. And that way,
maybe write something up and put it on the back of it.
Exactly. Yes, and that's, you know, adding provenance to that. Now, I don't know that that's going to do us any good in our lifetime, but, you know, later down the line, you know, your daughter, family, who knows? You just never know. I just think it's cool to do that for sure. And, you know, record keeping, I just think it's good. I'm keeping some of mine too. I didn't mention that they are not my favorites by any means, but my son had acted interested in them actually many years ago when he was quite young. And he said that he wanted those paintings. So I've always kept them. They're hanging on my wall. It's those two mirrored tree paintings. You remember? One is like flaming red with the blazing sun sky. And then the other one is a nighttime scene with the moon. And he's indicated that he wanted those. So I hope that he still does want them, because I'm keeping them for him. When he moves out, they're going on his wall, whether he likes it or not. So there are pieces to keep for that. You know, people call dibs on them. So.
My daughter has some pieces that I made specifically for her. She has some anime character paintings. Of course, I wouldn't sell those because there's copyright on them, you know, but I just made them for her, you know, just for personal use and everything, so.
Oh, she'll cherish those, I'm sure. Even though someday she'll probably grow out of that, although you never know.
I don't know. A lot of adults are into anime too, you know.
Well, even and she does, and she'll love them even more, won't she? Especially someday, you know, whenever we're not around anymore, they will definitely cherish that stuff. You hope they will, at least.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right. They're in that obnoxious age right now, at least mine is. And thinks he knows everything. Oh, I'm 18 now. Great. Yeah. That's the first thing he said to me when he came home late the other day. So I tell you that.
What did he say?
He said, I'm 18 now.
18 now. Yeah.
Oh, girl. I said, well, that doesn't change a thing. Well, I won't tell you the rest of the thing I said to him, but we're going through that right now. So please, people, pray for me. Well, this has been a good podcast. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I think we covered it. It's a pretty straightforward topic.
Yeah, it is. So, people, keep your best artwork for yourself. It is a good way to, especially if you're trying to sell your work, I think. You know, of course, if you weren't selling it, you're probably either giving it away or keeping it anyway. But, you know, it's just another way to to keep record of your journey as an artist throughout your life.
Oh, and I do want to say, put your best work on your website too. Just don't have it for sale, but definitely have it on there so people can see it, and just specify not for sale.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. I think I have mine on there too. Just not for
Yeah.
sale.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. All right.
I think it looks good when you have some pieces not for sale too. You
Yeah,
know?
I do. Yeah, you don't want to have too much though. I've seen some people that every single piece not
Oh,
for
I
sale, not
know,
for
right,
sale.
right.
Yeah, that just irks me to death. All right, so let's wrap this up. Thank you for listening, and I want to remind you guys, and Lori and I, we need to get on the ball and make some questions because we're waiting to hear from some people who want to be interviewed from us. So we're kind of going about this a different way. We're going to come up with what did we decide, Lori? We're going to come up with a question, and we're going to post it on social media, and we'll try to get some responses, and we'll go from there. But we are still taking, if you would like to be interviewed by us, we're still taking submissions. So please do just email us at creativetypepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll send you some interview questions, and then Lori and I will read them on the podcast. And that'll give you just a little bit of, you could bragging rights, right? You could say, I've been on a podcast or interviewed on a podcast, and just a little bit of extra, what's the word? It just lost. Exposure. Exposure kills. But, we are still looking for some artists to do that. And let's see, what else? We're looking for things that you'd like to hear. So if you want to hear us talk about a certain thing, or if you've got a good idea, shoot us an email, right? Keep up with us on social media. We'd love to hear from you. Well, I guess that's it. So, Lori, did anything good happen to you this week?
Well, I was sick this week. I had a cold.
I know.
So,
so the good thing is you're getting better, right? That's the good thing.
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah. My good
what
thing
about you?
Well, let's see. My good thing was, I've had lots of ups and downs this week. But one good thing was I delivered some paintings to Inman's Gallery and swapped out some work, and it always feels good to do that. It makes me feel, hopeful, and I should do that more often. So I'd say that was a good thing.
Yeah.
A good thing for me. Okay, well, I guess we'll just see you in 2 weeks. See you when we see you. And,
all right.
Yeah, have a great day, Lori. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too. All right, thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.